Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, November 29th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Several amendments have been made to the Town and Country Planning Act, which were approved by Parliament on Thursday. One of the key changes includes granting the Physical Planning Board the authority to approve plans for subdivisions. Previously, this was the sole responsibility of the Chief Engineer. The bill was presented in Parliament by the Minister of Physical Planning, Montgomery Daniel, who explained that the roles and responsibilities of workers in the Physical Planning Unit have now been clearly outlined. He also highlighted that as part of the new amendments, it is now law for the Planning Division to properly manage risks related to climate change and natural disasters.
13A to 13D, to incorporate disaster and climate change issues into the law to respond to climate risk by providing the method for delimiting and managing developments in natural hazard-prone areas. This aims to make the Town and Country Planning Act more resilient to new climatic events that present itself, socio-economic challenges to livelihoods, by inserting these climate change adaptation measures such as the identification of climate risk and high hazard areas within the physical plan and the designation of areas that are naturally prone to hazards.
Minister Daniel added that under the new amendments, members of the public now have 28 days to submit objections to planning applications after they have been published. This takes into consideration the unique needs and challenges of the Grenadines.
Expand the methods of publication of applications to which the public is invited to respond and allow 28 days for providing comments. Again, for persons living in the Grenadines, Madam Speaker, they face peculiar challenges in accessing, gazettes and so on. So I'm happy that this has been amended in that way. Also, inserting a new subsection 3A, which requires referral bodies to provide comments on applications for planning permission within 28 days, and the public consultations to be carried out, if needed, based on public observations submitted for an application for planning permission.
Another important amendment allows for the discontinuation of land use, with conditions now being imposed upon such actions, provided that prior notice is given.
After a waste order is issued by the board and it has not been complied with, the board can enforce compliance by demolishing, removing, or making safe any building. Clause 21 amends the Town and Country Planning Act by introducing a new section 20A that allows the board to issue a temporary notice that restricts entry onto premises which the development is carried out in contravention of the Act in a manner that it is dangerous, and it is expedient in the interest of preserving human life or safety that access to the development be restricted.
Meanwhile, provisions have also been made to ensure the proper management of land used for livestock rearing, including specific regulations for the construction and management of pig pens. A total of 4,114 deaths have been recorded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from 2021 up to September 30th, 2024. This figure represents an accumulation of death totals over a 4-year period, which were provided in Parliament on Thursday by the Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Sinclair Prince. The data was shared in response to a request from opposition MP Sinclair Leacock, who asked for the statistics in light of what he described as a casual observation that many people believe there has been an increase in deaths in the state since the COVID-19 pandemic. Acknowledging that discussions about the COVID-19 pandemic will continue for some time due to its significant impact on society, Minister Prince highlighted the following breakdown of death totals. 1,082 deaths in 2021, 1,059 in 2022, 1,121 in 2023, and 852 deaths up to September 30th, 2024. The opposition MP also inquired whether any studies or determinations had been done to establish a correlation between COVID-19 and the national vaccination campaign. In response, Minister Prince told Parliament none has been done locally, but several have been done internationally.
It asked about the existence of a study that establishes a correlation between COVID-19 and the vaccination exercise, but did not state whether it is a correlation between COVID-19 disease and vaccination, or COVID-19 deaths and vaccination, or any other COVID-19 variable and the vaccination exercise. However, Madam Speaker, reviews of the data have shown that the majority of persons who tested positive for COVID-19 and or died from COVID-19 between 2021 and 2022 were unvaccinated. There have, however, been studies done on the excess deaths noted after the declaration of the discontinuation of the public health emergency of international concern in May of 2023. And these studies have demonstrated that the excess deaths are related to the NCDs, including cardiovascular diseases and COVID-19 infections. The Swiss RE Institute published an article on September 16, 2024, which concluded as follows. And before I do that, before I quote that, let me just say that we did not do a study ourselves with respect to that. But there is a study done by the Swiss RE Institute. I'm quoting now. Based on current medical trends and expected advancements, we conclude that COVID-19 is still driving excess mortality both directly and indirectly. In the long term, lifestyle factors that contribute to your metabolic health and lead to obesity and diabetes may become another compounding factor in population excess mortality. Insurers may wish to continue to monitor excess mortality and its underlying drivers in the general population closely, as well as the differences between general and insured populations, unquote.
The third part of Leacock's question to Minister Prince concerned the leading reported cause of death from 2021 to September 2024.
In 2021, leading cause of death, ischemic heart disease, 171 deaths. 2022, leading cause of death, ischemic heart disease, 134 deaths. 2023, ischemic heart disease, 159 deaths. And up to September 30th, 2024, the same, ischemic heart disease, 117 deaths. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
It's not really supplementary, simply to ask whether you would explain in layman's language what these heart disease deaths mean.
Simply heart attack.
Heart attack?
Yes.
Ah, okay. That's enough. A lot of people die of heart attack.
Yes. But that has been the case all along. We have most of the deaths
I didn't ask
recorded.
You answered what I asked.
You mean I must answer you?
No, I said you answered Sinclair what I asked. Don't let us get into a Sinclair thing.
This is the usual battle of the Sinclairs that we don't.
Battle of the Saints.
That we don't get involved
with. Of the
with.
Saints. Of the Saints. You've answered me, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
All right. So.
Pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, an HIV medicine that significantly reduces the chances of contracting HIV, will be introduced in St. Vincent and the Grenadines early next year. This announcement was made by Aria Scott, a representative from the Ministry of Health, during an interview on NBC Radio's face-to-face program today. Scott described PrEP as a life-changing drug for individuals at high risk of HIV infection, noting its potential to greatly reduce new HIV cases.
Pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP for short, this is the combination of two medications, two drugs, and the aim of PrEP is to reduce the contraction of the HIV virus for persons who are more at risk, who are more susceptible of contracting HIV. And we have the PrEP medication in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Currently, the aim is to start rolling out this medication around early next year. The OECS is also currently in the process of rolling out the PrEP program to all the OECS states. So PrEP is really a life-changing drug for persons who are really at risk of HIV, and it helps to reduce the contraction. What PrEP really does, it is the combination of two drugs that helps to reduce your risk.
Right.
So when the HIV virus, let's say, enter your bloodstream, it stops the duplication from happening, and that's the aim of PrEP.
On the HIV/AIDS statistics in the country, Scott said the number of cases is not as high as the number of syphilis cases.
In terms of infectious diseases, we have been seeing an uptick, not in HIV, but rather in syphilis cases for this year. And with that, we're looking at the age groups such as our adolescents and our young adults. These are the persons more affected. And we are trying as much as we possibly can to reach out to our young people, reach out to our young adults, and this is why we're doing our outreach activities as well, to hone this back in and ensure that we're touching base with everyone that is affected. So it's really an uptick in the number of syphilis cases, and also it is trying to get our young adults and our adolescents to practice safe sexual behaviors.
Discussing the ministry's ongoing HIV/AIDS outreach programs, Scott emphasized that these initiatives have been effective in raising awareness and improving prevention efforts. She pointed out that the outreach programs have seen positive results so far.
So for our outreach programs, this has been quite effective, and we have seen a lot of support from the public as well with our outreach programs. We have been to many organizations such as the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College, and this was leading up to the World AIDS Day festivities as well. So we have visited the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies. We went to the Division of Technical Vocation Education. We went to the Diamond Campus. Along with that, we also went to His Majesty's Prison. We went to mental health as well. So for outreach programs, we're not just testing as well. We are also enforcing information and awareness.
Scott also highlighted the importance of integrating PrEP into the country's comprehensive HIV prevention strategy, noting that it will complement other efforts to reduce the transmission of the virus. 4 years after LIAT 1974 closed its doors, former staff in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have still not received their severance pay. The president of the SVG LIAT Workers Union, Jeremy Howard, who represents the workers, told SVG-TV News that after years of negotiations, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves had asked them to reduce the severance amount of EC $1.1 million, which they did last year. However, it now appears that the workers have been forgotten.
Okay, we met with the Prime Minister as he requested in 2023 in May and June, which we were told to send a proposal. We did send a proposal in July of 2023. And I must mention that the proposal we sent, we actually reduced the quantum that was due to us. We took everything into consideration because apparently there are other persons in St. Vincent who are owed money from LIAT 1974 Limited. Subsequent to that, subsequent to sending the proposal, we sent like 3 follow-up letters in 2023 to the Prime Minister's office asking for a response, because we were told that after we send the proposal, we should get a response within 30 days. We got no response up to 2023. This year, 2024, we sent 2 letters as well, asking for a response as well. And there has been no response.
According to Howard, the former employees are deeply disappointed with the lack of response from the Prime Minister, noting that they had hoped for a positive resolution in time for Christmas.
A few staff took it upon themselves on their own and paid the Prime Minister's office a visit about 2 months ago. And they were told that there's no update. Now, this is somewhat conflicting. You know, we met in good faith And our position is that at least we think we deserve a response. The staff is very irate, the staff is confused, and we're expecting some form of response at least in this Yuletide season. As I said before, that we sent follow-up letters, we followed all the protocols, and to this day there's no response. We're glad to see at 2020 back in the skies, and we hope that it survives. But I mean, here it is that the staff is still not paid the severance pay, and in this case we cannot even get a response.
Following the liquidation of LEAT 1974, 39 former staff members were laid off. The total severance owed to them is still more than $1.1 million. On Sunday, December 1st, the National 9 Mornings Committee will officially launch the unique Vincentian Festival 9 Mornings, which is set to feature several exciting additions this year. Chairman of the 9 Mornings Committee, Bomani Charles, tells SVG-TV News that there are high expectations for the community parade, with at least 7 community groups set to participate.
The National 9 Mornings Festival Committee is in the advanced stages of preparation for this year's festival. We've had several meetings over the last few months with community groups, organizations, stakeholders, sponsors, to prepare for this year's festival. We launch officially this coming Sunday, December 1st, with a huge parade around Kingstown and a concert and ceremony at Heritage Square. The parade begins at 6 p.m. and the official ceremony at 7. We'll turn on the lights. We'll have a grand time there. We expect to have about 7 groups participating, community groups participating in the community song competition, as well as the best community on parade from several community groups from around St. Vincent.
The 9 Mornings Committee President also announced that more than 50 communities have already registered to take part in the festival this year, which officially begins on December 16th.
The Grenadines participating in the parade. There will also be the popular 9 Mornings train on the parade as well, and some exciting new features. From December 16th to the 24th, we expect to see large turnout, persons coming to Heritage Square and visiting other communities around St. Vincent and the Grenadines, participating in 9 mornings activities or evening activities or community light-up activities. We expect over 50 communities to be involved. And so we are expecting a great season this year. We are hoping for good weather, and we urge the general public to go out and support the efforts of the various community organizations and groups, and to join us in Kingstown as we celebrate this most unique Vincentian tradition.
Participants are encouraged to be ready for judging in the various categories, which will also commence on December 16th. Meanwhile, the 9 Nights of Lights will kick off on Sunday, December 15th. A variety of activities are planned for every night at the Botanical Gardens. In response to the challenges faced during the pandemic in hosting a successful Easter regatta, the government has taken a bold and decisive approach to reimagine and expand the event. This was pointed out in Parliament on Thursday by Minister of Tourism Carlos James, who emphasized that the Easter regatta has been a cornerstone of both the cultural and economic identity of the nation, particularly for the people of the Northern and Southern Grenadines. He noted that traditionally, the event has been largely driven by stakeholders, with support from the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Authority. In response to a question from opposition leader and MP for the Northern Grenadines, Dr. Godwin Friday, on reviving the festival, Minister James announced that plans are already underway for the 2025 festival, pointing out that the goal is to make it more centralized as part of the ministry's ongoing efforts to boost marine tourism.
Going into next year, Madam Speaker, this event will evolve into the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Sailing Week. The SVG Sailing Week will combine the best of tradition with modernity and with an inclusive approach that spans both the Northern and Southern Grenadines. This new format, Madam Speaker, offers a great economic and cultural impact while maintaining the regatta's historic significance. We have taken the initiative to fully facilitate the execution of the festival from a core committee that is led by the Tourism Authority and the Ministry of Tourism. As I said previously, this was more stakeholder driven from within the community. And Madam Speaker, the internal fractions of local sailing politics between the Veteran Sailing Club and the Beckwith Sailing Club and Commodores from aligned to boat groupings have had over the years a particular fracture in the organizing of the activity. One would thought that the member for the Northern Grenadines, seeing that this is stakeholder-led and driven, would have been one of the persons at the forefront in mobilizing and organizing the stakeholders to facilitate this festival. Nonetheless, I want to commend the Deputy Director of Grenadines Affairs, Carlos Williams, who has been very integral, Madam Speaker, in pushing and working with the stakeholders to host this activity. And this reorganizing is largely part of his work on the ground with stakeholders, to have them being a part of this new formed St. Vincent and the Grenadines Sailing Week.
He confirmed that in 2025, the Easter Regatta will be rebranded as SVG Sailing Week, with activities spread across both the Northern and Southern Grenadines.
In fact, the first few days of the week, most of the activities will be centered in Union Island and also Myra and Canawan, where we'll have the Bougainvillea Cup. This cohesive structure allows us to showcase the diversity and beauty of the Grenadines in a larger way, its richness, both in culture and seascape, and of course will encourage a greater level of participation and engagement from all of the islands. Madam Speaker, secondly, the enhancement of the stakeholder engagement also, which will allow us to drive a lot more local growth within the economy. The event will heavily involve local stakeholders, including vendors, hospitality providers, community organizations, and to ensure that the festival stimulates, of course, as I said, the local economy, restaurants, bars, and other businesses. In fact, in preparation for this sailing week, the Veteran Sailing Club, they have already procured at least 2 vessels, one of which will be used to facilitate some of the traditional races. And the vessels have already been on island, Madam Speaker, both shipped to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A new initiative as part of this sailing week will be a partnership with Tradewinds, traditionally a very long-standing stakeholder in St. Vincent and the Grenadines within the yachting community. Tradewinds have had over 25 years of established relations within the territory. And we are pleased to announce that there will be a partnership with Tradewinds, who will also bring a fleet of vessels to participate in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Sailing Week. Tradewinds will also present a special humanitarian award during the event to honor a key conservationist in the Grenadines and reflecting the festival's commitment to tourism, sustainable tourism, and environmental stewardship.
Minister James said the second leg of the week-long activities will culminate with the revived Beckwith Regatta,
including the signature double-ender, the open-class yacht races, as well as new elements such as entertainment and a grand prize ceremony, closing ceremony. That weekend, which is traditionally the Beckwith Easter Regatta, will now be the climax weekend of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Sailing Week. International promotions and collaborations. The Sailing Week has been officially registered with the Caribbean Sailing Association, granting access to the international events calendar, promotional platforms, as well as training resources. In fact, they will be working closely with the Caribbean Sailing Association to facilitate the races, and all of the judges and panel who will be working closely to facilitate the activity. This partnership ensures broader visibility and highlights the high standards necessary to attract regional and international participants. Madam Speaker, the commitment to sustainable tourism growth, the Sailing Week will be a model for sustainable tourism, emphasizing environmental conservation, community development, and cultural preservation.
Minister James noted that the 2025 SVG Sailing Week will have the full backing of various stakeholders from the Northern and Southern Grenadines, who are part of the organizing committee. This committee, he said, includes both former and current members of the sailing clubs in Bequia, who will work closely with the Ministry of Tourism to ensure the festival's success. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Service will celebrate its 44th anniversary on December 2nd, 2024, under the theme 44 and Fortified, committed to excellence and development. The SVG Coast Guard says it will host a series of events to celebrate nearly half a century of dedicated maritime service. Established on December 2nd, 1980, the SVG Coast Guard, in a news release, says it has navigated a dynamic and challenging maritime environment, evolving into a self-sustaining and efficient unit within the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Over the past 4 decades, the Coast Guard says it has steadfastly upheld its mission to ensure maritime security and safety, protect the marine environment, safeguard natural resources, enforce international maritime conventions, and engage in foreign relations and national defense. Throughout the week, the Coast Guard base will host an open day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. daily. The public is invited to tour the facilities, meet the crew, and learn more about the Coast Guard's operations and contributions to national security. The activities will kick off on Sunday, December 1st, with a church service. Other activities for the week include a sensitization walk, community outreach, commanding officers parade and Coast Guard brunch, and a Coast Guard anniversary social. The SVG Coast Guard is encouraging all citizens to participate in the events and share in commemorating the significant milestone.